this up to warp speed?
I'll give her all she's got, Captain.
All right then. Think we can bring this up to warp speed?
I'll give her all she's got, Captain.
All right then.
Welcome to MORA's 4th Annual Earth Day Stewardship Showcase. Today, we join 1 billion people in 193 countries to celebrate Earth Day. My name is Jill Hollowell, and I am pleased to be a member of MORA's Education Committee. We are here today in collaboration with Missouri's Earth Stewards. Our showcase provides insight into the passion, creativity, and innovation happening across our great state. Everything that we have comes from the earth through extraction. Over the past 5 decades, extraction of our Earth's natural resources has tripled. How do we reimagine our waste streams to rescue more of these valuable resources? That is why we are here today, to showcase stewardship of our natural resources. MORA annually recognizes achievements in sustainability. Last year, we presented an award category, Young Entrepreneurs, and we awarded Trenton Esser and Hayden Seidel. In St. Louis, their company is named Printerior, and it's a 3D printing company that has developed a technology to produce objects of any size or quantity using recycled and sustainable materials. Printerior recognizes that people love 3D printing, but they hate the plastic waste. So they developed a solution. Their customers are provided with a recycling account to recycle their 3D printing filament. And then Printerior gives the customers the ability to purchase recycled filament. As Trenton and Hayden say, print sustainably, print recycled. Let's take a look. We invite you to help MORA identify young entrepreneurs, businesses, educators, and organizations following a sustainable path. You may email your referral to earthday@mora.org. Today's showcase is funded by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, and we thank our co-sponsors, the City of Rolla and Printerior. We hope you will message your friends and family to join us today. We'll be making many stops. For example, there's a Compost Festival in Kansas City. We'll be over in St. Louis for a visit with Green Jean Ponzi, and then down to Rolla to hear from first responders for the planet. And there's more. There's poetry and music and all kinds of wonderful projects that people are implementing, all for stewardship. Please be sure to visit our website at mora.org or follow us on Facebook. Happy Earth Day to all, and thank you for celebrating Earth stewardship. We will now join our moderator, Katie White.
Thank you, Jill. I'm Katie White, and I'll be your host today. Today marks the 54th annual Earth Day celebration. All around the world, we raise awareness for protecting our shared home planet. Earth Day honors the importance of the life-sustaining resources the Earth provides, and how by working together, we can create habits that use the Earth's resources wisely to leave a healthier planet for future generations. This year's Earth Day theme is Planet versus Plastics. Did you know that plastic waste is one of the biggest environmental challenges that we face? Take a moment to think about how each of us can reduce plastic waste. Are there ways you can recycle, reuse, repurpose, or better yet, eliminate plastic waste by making choices when you purchase items? An example would be to buy a paper container and not a styrofoam container when you're purchasing eggs. Well, whatever habits you change, we all agree that many small changes can add up to a great success. And today we're going to see evidence and samples of how we can all contribute. Let's start by taking a moment to honor this big blue ball that we call the Earth by pledging to protect the resources it generously shares with us.
I pledge allegiance to the earth and all the life which it supports. One planet in our care, irreplaceable, with respect for all. irreplaceable, with respect for all, irreplaceable, with respect for all.
Let our voices be heard for planet Earth. On 3, say Happy Earth Day with me. 1, 2, 3. Happy Earth Day! If we think about how we currently learn about new ideas or thoughts, we realize that the arts are influential as a first line of information. Song, verse, visual arts all grab our attention first and lead us to deeper thinking about new or changing ideas that inspire us to act in social groups together with gusto. It's important to appreciate our artists who create these avenues to information. Arts Rolla's Earth Day Poetry Contest provides us with poetry from students who have a lot to say using verse. Would you be interested in writing a piece for next year's poetry contest?
What is Earth Day by Ibrahim Ali. What is Earth Day? My favorite day, you might say, the day for recycling plastic and reducing it like magic. Even if it's just throwing a water bottle in the bins, every little act makes a difference. One little thing every day, and I promise you that the changes will be here to stay. Everyone just contribute a little bit. The earth will definitely appreciate it. Reduce, reuse, recycle to help keep on the life cycle. Save the trash from going into the sea and let the ocean and its animals be. What is Earth Day? Your favorite day. So what is Earth Day? Your favorite day, I hope to say.
Another popular way that we express our ideas is through video clips. For our 2024 MORA Earth Day Stewardship Showcase, we challenge people to create a video clip defining a first responder for the planet, or an FRP. The videos can be in the form of storytelling, music, or performance art. We define a first responder as someone who responds first without prompting. Let's watch this next piece and see these students define first responder and show how they reimagine a plastic challenge and become first responders for the planet.
Mardi Gras beads lead to 2.5 million pounds of plastic waste annually that ends up in landfills or oceans, and this inspired us to become first responders. So what is a first responder?
A first responder is someone who responds to an issue without prompt. So if a first responder sees a spill, they'll immediately jump up to help clean it. We apply that on a larger scale through trying to help reduce environmental issues through our Green Beads project. St. Patrick's is a massive celebration in our town, and nearly every single person that's walking in the parade is throwing out necklaces, massively contributing to this plastic waste.
To help combat this, we designed Green Beads, an environmentally friendly alternative to Mardi Gras beads. These beads are made from strips of recycled newspaper and have seeds inside of them, so you can replace the waste with plant life when the necklaces get discarded.
To bring community awareness to this issue, we started things such as a weekly club where we teach kids about how we make our beads and plastic's environmental impact, and have also collaborated with our local university and a local robotics team to help make these beads more efficiently and speed up the process.
This project has given us the opportunity to include everyone in our community in something that could have a major impact, all because we decided to step up and be first responders. And now it's time for you to be a first responder. Whether that means being the first to clean up a spilled cup of water or being the first to push for a major change in your community, it's time for you to step up and respond first. These are the references that we use for all the information in this video.
Wow, wasn't that just amazing? See how easy it is to be a first responder for the planet? Well, our next segment shows us another first responder for the planet who's thinking inside the box by collecting a hard-to-recycle product.
Hey everyone, just wanted to let you know that we here at Metz Music are happy to partner with TerraCycle and Daddario to offset your set. We're happy to be a drop-off point for recycling of guitar strings, acoustic and electric. They can be nylon strings, orchestral strings, doesn't matter the brand or type of string. You can bring any of your strings, your clippings, bring those by here, and we recycle them through TerraCycle, and they break those down to raw materials to be used for other products. So, thank you.
I'll bet you didn't think about recycling instrument strings. We're challenging you to create a first responder for the planet video. Check the QR code or email your video to earthday@mora.org. Grab some friends, create a group project, or just do it all by yourself. Send us your creations and we'll share them to inspire others to become an FRP, a first responder for the planet. Missouri has a very powerful group of first responders for the planet. We recognize all Missouri residents who recycle. They make special trips to the recycling centers and bring their hard-to-recycle items like appliances and electronics to a collection event usually hosted by Missouri's solid waste districts. So if you're wondering what that looks like, let's watch Trashasaurus Rex at the annual Brewer Science event in Rolla. Well, another example of a first responder for the planet is Scraps KC. Their mission is to transform the unwanted into something of value. They accept used or excess supplies and materials, and then they make those available through their store for reuse. This has diverted more than 400 tons from the landfill. In this segment, they show us how to give marker tops a second life. Well, not only does that project give marker tops a new life, but it also reuses plastic, which is in line with our 2024 Earth Day theme, Planet versus Plastics. Next, we'll see excerpts from a local video series, My Week in Plastics, featuring Jean Ponzi from EarthWays Center, Missouri Botanical Garden, and Sustainable Lifestyle and Refill Shop, Dharma and Dwell. You can visit the Dharma and Dwell store in the tree-lined shopping district of Webster Grove. In this series, Green Jean digs into facts, ideas, and options from a bin full of all the plastic waste generated by her household in one ordinary week.
Hi, I'm Jean Ponzi. I work for the Missouri Botanical Garden, which is where we are right now. I work for the EarthWays Center, the sustainability division of the garden. And it's been a pleasure to get to work with Dharma and Dwell and understand more about the circularity, the waste minimization efforts that your store does. So today I have a bin of stuff that I saved up for a week to analyze plastic in my life. And I would like to share that with you. My Week in Plastic by Green Jean Ponzi. So together we're going to find out what's all in here. I think it's going to be a mix of food-related stuff, maybe some personal care, some things that can be recycled, some things that can't, some may be secrets I'm going to regret sharing with you, but we'll find out how that all goes. Whoa, this is a lot. This is actually more, oops, forgot the toothpaste tube. This is more than I thought I was going to come up with. So makes sense to me to sort this out now in terms of stuff that can be recycled, stuff that can't. Food-related stuff, anything having to do with personal care, anything that could potentially be minimized. So let's do a little sorting here. This is a plant butter container. It's plastic, it's got a lid. It can be recycled, and in fact, if I put these in my recycling bin, I'm going to be pretty confident that they will be made into new products. But the thing is, whenever you have a dimensional container with a flat lid, you always want to put the lid back on before you put it in the recycling, and you want to wash it out. You want to get the gunk out. First of all, that's not going to attract pests or uck in your recycling bin, and it's going to send the best quality material on to be recycled. I typically reuse a yogurt container like this. If I'm going to make a batch of soup, I put the second half of it in the yogurt container and put it in the freezer, but this one was already soup that came to me, so I'm going to let this one go. let's see. Ooh, this is one of my favorite kind of containers. This is the thing that you get Parmesan cheese in. And I save these. I get the ones with the red lid. Sometimes I get the black lid flavor, sometimes I get the red lid flavor. But when it's a red lid, I can write the name of a nut on here, and I keep all my nuts and seeds, which are a really good part of protein in the diet in my household, in these things with their name written on, and they all fit really nicely 2 in a row in my refrigerator shelf. So I'm gonna save this one. That's gonna be reused. And these babies, ooh, these are the best. We just happen to like gelato in my household, and it's an ice cream related product that is not dairy. So issues with eating dairy, lactose intolerance, you can eat gelato, and I get them when they're on sale. I get a couple, and these are great containers for reuse. You can wash them out. They don't retain any food smell. I have stored everything in these, from the little glass marbles that I put in a vase with flowers, to seeds that I'm going to harvest off my native plants and overwinter until I'm ready to plant them again in the spring. It's a good size, it's a good configuration. It is food grade if you want to restore anything else. So they are going in the reuse pile. And ditto for these boxes. Now, if you're gonna go to the store and you're gonna have them cook your fish for you in the seafood department, this is really convenient, especially when it's really hot and I don't wanna turn the oven on in the summer. And you get the food in a box like this. The lid fits tightly. I reuse these a lot. If I make a batch of cookies and I'm gonna give some to someone else, I can put them in a box like this. It's gonna be a nice kind of a presentation. So I do save these and reuse them. However, this is condiments, peanut butter. Don't necessarily need to do this. I have, however, rinsed out, actually I fingered out my peanut butter jar as much as possible. And so they're going into the recycling bin. And with this little, I think this held tomatoes, I didn't peel the plastic toppy thing off all the way, and therefore I can send the whole thing on in my recycling bin. If I had peeled this plastic thing off, it would act like a piece of paper in the recycling plant and dissipate. So yay for me. And little guys like this, once in a while, you get takeout or you get something, I do save these and I do reuse these, from everything to, a few berries that I put in the freezer, and then I have some berries out of a box, not enough to eat that day, but I just need a little container. Or like if I get a bunch of parsley and I want to pick all the parsley tops off and just have them loose and ready without having to harvest them from the bunch, this is a good thing to reuse. So that goes in the reuse pile. However, the clamshell boxes, sometimes in the summer I'll take those to the farmer's market, to our farmers that sell berries. They appreciate getting those to hold their produce. Cookie container, it can be recycled, so I'm going to recycle it. And ditto for a container that held spinach artichoke dip. And these guys too. Now, this is a big clamshell. It can be recycled. It's #1 plastic, but every once in a while I get greens that come in a bag and I can't do anything with the bag, so I save one of these boxes and store it in the box in the refrigerator. It lets the greens be a little looser. I like to keep one of those on hand, so I'm gonna save that too. And then juice bottle, could reuse it, but I'm gonna recycle it, and ta-da! That got rid of most of the food containers from my week in plastic, and they're all going to the recycling, or they're going to be well reused.
Well, Green Jean just showed us how to do a simple audit of your plastic consumption, and that's an important first step. You can't manage what you can't measure. So where do we begin? By looking in your landfill bin, and then determine how can you rethink purchasing plastic and use Green Jean's ideas for reusing plastic. We need to raise awareness for our plastic usage and our recycling habits. This next piece from St. Louis Recycles does just that, as they engage their community leaders in this outstanding campaign.
This jar once held my favorite blackberry jam, but that was only the beginning of its long and useful life. Leftovers, perfect fruit sizing for lunch, buttons, but now I think I'm ready to go ahead and put it in the recycling center. Since glass is practically the perfect recyclable, it will begin an entirely new life full of uses and adventures. Don't forget to always put your lid back on your container before you place it in the blue bin.
Fort, cat bed, tunnel, arts and crafts projects, bottom of a garden bed, cardboard is incredibly versatile. What a treasure. It can be recycled up to 7 times. Make sure you flatten it when you put it in your blue bin to save room for you and your neighbors.
Did you know recycling 1 ton of paper saves 17 trees and 7,000 gallons of water? Recycle your paper and have a cool glass of water under the shade of a beautiful tree. You earned it.
Are your batteries out of juice? Don't throw them in any bin. Dispose of them properly at the household hazardous waste facility. Don't be an accidental firebug. No batteries in the bin.
Hola, St. Louis. I wanted to talk to you about recycling. Do you put your recyclables in a bag like this? No? Perfect, because these bags caused a lot of issues in the recycling plants. If you bag stuff, the whole thing is gonna go into the landfill. So instead, use your in-home bin to store stuff. This bag, you can keep and then take later to the supermarket to recycle. If you need one of these, contact St. Louis City Recycles. They'll give you one for free.
Now what do we do with these?
Let me check the Recycling 101 from St. Louis City Recycles. Oh, it looks like food and beverage cartons are recyclable in the blue bin. They just need to be emptied, cleaned with the lids on, and voila.
That's easy.
Did you know when you recycle an aluminum can, it only takes 60 days to be back on the shelf as another can? Aluminum is infinitely recyclable, and 75% of all aluminum ever produced is still in use today. So hop on the fast track and recycle your metal food and beverage cans in your blue bin.
Plastic bottles are the #1 plastic pollutant found in the Mississippi River. Show your STL pride and recycle responsibly. Remember, any plastic container smaller than 5 gallons in size can be recycled. No need to look at numbers anymore.
Talk about raising awareness. No one does it like the king. And you know I'm talking about Eco Elvis. His parodies of Elvis Presley songs combined with his stunning performances have us thinking, clapping, and singing along.
How's it going, babies? I'm Eco Elvis, Kansas City's own environmentally friendly Elvis, and I am here to get you all shook up about taking care of this beautiful home of ours, Mother Earth.
Well, since the landfills are filling up and yard waste isn't allowed, a place that used to waste a lot is now Compost Hotel. Well, it's more friendly, baby. It's more friendly. It gives that garbage a second life. Well, the manager realized the danger of spraying the grass and the trees, 'cause chemicals damage the water and soil and make animals die from disease. Well, it's friendly, baby, more friendly. It gives that garbage a second life. So the lawn crew started mulching the grass clippings and the dead leaves. Now they don't need to spray, 'cause compost fertilizes and keeps out the weeds. Well, it holds in the moisture, baby. It holds in the moisture. No need to water near as much. So the kitchen staff started recycling the bread and vegetable scraps. Even the paper towels, coffee grounds, eggshells, banana peels, all that stuff, ladies and gentlemen, can go to that compost bin out back. Well, it's more friendly, baby. It's more friendly. It gives that garbage a second life. Well, About 30% of household trash is yard clippings and kitchen scraps. You don't want to stink your landfill in your neighborhood, baby. Composting is where it's at. Where. It holds in the moisture, baby. It holds in the moisture. No need to water near as much. It gives the garbage a second life. I said it gives the garbage a second life. And many more. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
We do recycle many things, but the thing we need to add to our recycling routine is food waste. Did you know at least 20% of the waste sent to the landfill is food waste? We all eat, so we all have to manage our food waste responsibly. Compost Fest creator Stan Slaughter had this to say, and I quote, "There's a lot of environmentalists who are, I guess you could say, theoretical environmentalists. I don't trust them if they don't compost. It's like walking your talk. Every time you compost a piece of food scraps, you're saying, I care. Every time you recycle, you're saying, I care. So it's entirely possible to be a person who thinks about environmentalism and pushes environmentalism that way. But I believe you need to practice it on the ground and in the ground." So to raise awareness for composting food waste to create healthy soils, Stan created Compost Fest, now in its third year and happening on May 11th, 2024 at the Farm School on Gibbs Road. Let's have a look at last year's 2022 Compost Fest.
On Earth Day, April 22nd, 2023, Missouri Organic Recycling sponsored the second annual Kansas City Compost Fest at the Kansas City Farm School at Gibbs Road. Kansas City's Compost Fest included composting-themed booths and workshops and the construction of a 60-ton compost pile. Building this big pile helps teach how Missouri Organic Recycling handles huge quantities of food and yard waste each day, plus it leaves the host with a big pile of compost to be used for years to come. This year's big pile involved Missouri Organic Recycling trucking in 50 cubic yards of leaves, 20 yards of ground woody waste. Also, Kansas City's local food waste collection services contributed about 4,000 pounds of their customers' food waste, but what was missing was some moisture and a little more nitrogen. Now, on the day of the festival, our skid steer volunteer extraordinaire, Mark Kalin from Kalin Custom Homes, started mixing the leaves, the food waste, and the mulch into a long pile called a windrow. At around 10:30 a.m., Missouri Organic brought its stainless steel tanker truck with 2,500 gallons of yeasty beer dregs from Boulevard Brewing Company. The beer provided much needed moisture, and the yeast added to the nitrogen content. This helped to accelerate the bacterial activity in the pile. As the beer was added, Mark's skid steer rolled and folded the liquid into the dry ingredients. The pile was then left to compost and reached a high of 130 degrees. The workshops at Compost Fest featured a wide variety of composting and organic management techniques. Goats on the Go brought their work crew out to demonstrate how goats can clear invasive plants. They eagerly ate the invasive Japanese honeysuckle and used the nutrition to feed themselves and their babies. They eat the weeds and they make it easy for us to cut the brush out. Plus, they leave a gift of good fertilizer.
My name is Kevin Anderson. I'm one of the owners of Missouri Organic Recycling. We've been doing composting for roughly 30 years now. So we were one of the very first that started doing compost in Kansas City. We collect food waste from grocery stores, cafeterias, restaurants. We also collect yard waste from municipalities. We make compost. And today, we're putting on the Compost Fest to try to bring all the composters and the people that are collecting compost in Kansas City together and create awareness for compost. So we definitely appreciate all the partners that are here today. We've created a really great compost pile today for KC Farm School, so really happy to be able to support and and make sure that we are being the leaders when it comes to food waste recycling.
Hi, I'm Karen Ramsey. I'm the co-founder of Food Cycle KC. We are a local company dedicated to supporting the full food cycle. So we offer compost collection services. We take that compost to our farm in Eudora and we turn it into the magic of real compost that we can provide back to local school and community gardens to help support them growing and addressing food insecurity in our area, which is a pretty critical problem. So Compost Fest is a great way to come see all the different kinds of options for composting, whether that's a compost service or soldier fly composting, vermicomposting, backyard composting. We're highlighting all of those options that you have to take your food waste and do something constructive with it and not just send it to the landfill.
I am Brooke Savaggio. I'm an urban farmer and an avid composter. I own and operate Compost Collective KC. And what we do at Compost Collective is we go around the metro area and we collect your food waste and turn it into the most beautiful, rich soil that actually goes on my farm fields and produces more and better food. So the process is really like alchemy, trash to treasure. What I really encourage people to understand is that their food waste is not waste at all. It's actually a nutrient. So if we cycle it back into the earth, it actually feeds the earth and feeds people versus going in a landfill where it will create methane gas and warm the planet and cause ecological destruction of all kinds. So the cool thing is, as individuals, we have the power to curb climate change in our own kitchens simply by composting our food scraps. And I'm here today at Compost Fest among all these other incredible companies and community organizations that have the same mission as me, which is to curb climate change through the act of composting. And I'm just really excited. It's rare that all of us composters get together and touch base and see each other and educate the community together. And what's so beautiful about this group of folks is, even if we're competing companies, we're all working together for the same mission. And this is an act of passion. It's not a business, it's not a product. It's simply something that needs to be happening in every municipality all over the world. And I'm just excited to be here and work with these folks and, do the good work, do the dirty work.
David Haken of Casey Drawdown Society demonstrated his kitchen worm composting system, which uses a simple 5-gallon bucket. David received a grant to place 100 of these bins across Kansas City. KC Can Compost offers curbside and drop-off collection of food waste, as well as job training within the company.
So this is about 20,000 larvae right there. Okay. And those are mostly in coffee grounds. They're not dirty or gross or anything. You can pick them up if you want or just pass them around. Take a look. Okay, so that is a maggot. We don't like that word, so we say larva. It is a dipterid fly. They'll actually eat that meat and you will not smell anything except for almost like this brewery smell. It's really amazing. So they're able to control the nasty gram-negative bacteria that make the bad smells. So if you're into vermicomposting, these are a great way to extend and expand your summer vermicomposting program. So you keep your worms indoors during the summer and these guys outdoors during the summer. And then during the winter you go back to focusing on the cool critters.
I'm doing this for my grandchildren because I want them to have a livable planet. And so I teach about this stuff, but the actual doing is what's going to help the earth. The whole idea of this is to create a fungal-rich product when we're done.
The heat's staying here on earth. Well, there ain't no use in denying it's a burning glow. Well, the heat is trapped by gases from the things that we burn, like the fuel in your car and the furnace and the power plant. It also comes from the clearing and burning of forests. landfills and livestock contribute their share too. Well, the oceans are starting to rise. Floods and droughts are coming our way. People, plants, and animals are starting to die from a burning glow. Sucker my baby now. Share a few ways how it can help save us from a burning glow, baby.
There's an entire week dedicated to raising awareness for composting. International Compost Week is May 5th through 11th this year. Regional Coordinator Steve Callis encourages all of us to participate by hosting events and talking to others about the importance of composting.
Hi, I'm Steve Callis. I'm the State Coordinator for International Compost Awareness Week. International Compost Awareness Week is the largest and most comprehensive education initiative of the compost industry. It is celebrated nationwide each year during the first full week of May. This year, International Compost Awareness Week will be May 5th through the 11th. The goal of International Compost Awareness Week is to work together to raise public awareness on why we all should be composting our organics and using compost to create healthier soil. Every year, a different theme is selected for International Compost Awareness Week. This year, the theme is Compost, Nature's Climate Champion. The 2024 theme highlights the role compost plays in fighting climate change. These roles include decreasing methane, helping with climate change mitigation, reducing fertilizer inputs, and increasing resilience. Using compost helps to create healthier soil and helps the environment. Composting also creates green jobs and infrastructures for cities and states implementing composting procedures. Throughout the week of International Compost Awareness Week, events are held all over the country and the world with communities, schools, governments, and businesses planning different activities to encourage and celebrate composting, all types of composting, from backyard to large scale. Enjoy your Earth Day celebrations and be sure to celebrate International Compost Awareness Week, May 5th through the 11th.
Join us in telling everyone how compost is rich in nutrients and increases the fertility and soil health. Our next visit is to the Rolla Recycling Center to learn about a free service for disposal of household hazardous wastes, such as fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, batteries, automotive fluids, household cleaning products, and vape products. You heard me right, vape products. They contain so many hazardous materials, from batteries to nicotine. So let's encourage all of our friends who use vape products to dispose of them properly so they can also become first responders for the planet.
Roger Bates, the director here at the Environmental Services. Stuff we don't want in the landfill that we bring here, keep it out of the landfill we want. Most items we take, household goods, Drano, solvents, stuff like that, we take here. Drop that off here every Wednesday, March through October, pretty much. And by appointment. We are limited. We don't want you bringing a truckload in, so call in, make the appointment. They'll tell you some of the stipulations on that.
So why are you here today?
Hi, we have some old
oil-based paint and a motor oil in our garage, and we cleaned out our garage for spring, and we'd like to have it recycled if possible. I'm so happy.
She's thrilled.
Great. No dumping it in the landfill. It just builds up over time. We were pretending that we were moving so that we would do this garage thing. So it's done. It's empty. Yay!
What brings you here today?
I'm dropping off a bunch of stuff from my move. I'm getting ready to move to a new home, and all the leftover stuff in the basement needs to come here. So I brought oil-based paint, fluorescent bulbs, paint thinner, and some leftover cans to spray paint with. And then I'm also doing the latex paint where I'm pouring kitty litter like mad and getting rid of it that way.
Fabulous. And why do you feel it's important to bring your items here?
Because I don't want them to be added to the landfill, and I certainly don't want to be pouring them out on the ground. So is that motor oil from?
It's an oil change, a motor oil,
okay.
And it got rained on.
Yeah.
And now I can't do anything with it. So.
There you go. This is a place to leave it.
Well, as you can see, if we allow our household chemicals to enter the landfills, they create a cauldron of chemical stew with the potential of leaching out into our waterways. So take action with your household chemicals and take them to one of Missouri's many free household hazardous waste disposal sites. Now, earlier we had talked about a creative community raising awareness, and this next submission is a unique musical video based on an experience that an artist had at the Heartland Arts Fellowship Program. He stated that the informative and empowering environmental conversations that he experienced in this fellowship provided a variety of solutions. And this resulting song asks us to wake up and make changes in the way we're living on our planet. So let's all listen to how a collective can take action and be part of building a better, more sustainable future.
Darling, the skies are no longer blue. Look how we poison the rivers too. What are we gonna do? Mercy, mercy me. The air is getting hard to breathe. Oh, darling, when will you see our hands are not clean? And the mess we made won't go until we decide to make a change, starting here today. So please don't give up hope, 'cause it's not too late. It's not too late. But we've got to wake up. We've got to stand up before we end up killing I will take a stand. We'll make a plan to heal our land. But we got to wake up. We got to stand up before we end up killing us. 'Cause if we don't change our situation, the earth will keep waging war on us.
Well, one of the messages that I took away from War on Us is that the earth will win, while humans may not. And we've certainly seen evidence of hardships this spring, from major rains, flooding, and tornadoes. Collectives take action and build more sustainable futures, such as community garden groups. That's a great collective. Kansas City Community Gardens, through their internship program, helps people grow vegetables, fruits, and they are also affiliated with the Giving Grove, who create orchards located in backyards, schoolyards, vacant lots, and community sites.
I worked 30 years construction. I was an iron worker, retired from that. So this is what I do here, come out and do a little gardening. Grew up gardening. It saves a lot of money, plus it's healthier for you. And you meet a lot of good, friendly people out here. So I really enjoy. These are called Bravo. The first 12 heads are called Bravo cabbage. And they get probably big as a basketball almost. I got 2 rows of sweet potatoes there. I'll dig them about September. These are the collard greens. I've already picked them about 3 times and just picked them and gave them away to people. Some people say you ought to sell it, but say it don't cost me that much. I'd rather give it to somebody, just see the joy.
People always think community gardens, we're only working with people at group sites, but we actually help gardeners at their homes. They can sign up as a member, get 10 packages of seed with their membership. They can buy plants at low cost. They can actually sign up to get their gardens tilled at their house in their backyard, which is a huge help to people. At this site and most of our sites, we have raised beds and ground plots. The whole idea is just to make garden space available to people, because so many people lack their own gardening space. And if they can come rent a plot and it's all set up for them, it makes it very, very easy for them to have access to produce.
And now, more from our creative community. Enjoy this poem titled At My Feet.
Fall spring. Daffodils shoot into the air. 2 bluebirds sit a couple. A soaring white hawk cries out, desire everlasting. Can winter be far behind?
Getting the earth beneath our feet, whether it's gardening or play or just hiking, is beneficial. It's good for our health, it's good for us mentally. We've just seen some impressive actions that people here in Missouri are taking, and encouraging you to try to add some of these actions to your routine. If it seems like a lot for just one person, you're right. This is why the Resilient Activist organization was formed, to encourage us to get out into nature and remind us that one person does not have to do it all. It's great advice on how to be more resilient, and that small actions can make a huge difference.
Hi, I'm Sammy Aaron with the Resilient Activist, and I'm delighted to see you here to talk about our 5 essentials for self-care and earth care. So a lot of us have anxiety and worry about the effects of climate change and might feel stressed that our actions might not have any impact. And at the Resilient Activist, we have the cure for that stress. Our 5 Essentials for a Resilient World can give you tools for earth care and self-care that'll make a difference for the environment while uplifting your emotions. So I'm going to share my screen and we'll continue from that. All right. So here at the Resilient Activist, we want to share the knowledge that in the Kansas City area where we're located, this is the historical homeland of the Kickapoo, the Kaw, the Osage, and the Osheti Shockaway, which is the Lakota, Dakota, and Nakota tribes. And we recognize that our teachings today about reconnecting to nature for earth care and self-care come from a deep indigenous wisdom, and we're grateful to have that information available to us. So I am a meditation teacher. I focus on nature-centered meditation. I'm an environmental activist. I volunteer with a number of environmental groups, mostly focusing on land use and restoration of pollinator habitat. I'm an extension master naturalist, and that program is citizen science, a way to understand Earth and how everything functions in an interconnected way. I'm a nature-connected educator through a method called the nature process. And I'm the climate reality leader. I gained a more global perspective on climate change from going through this 3-day workshop and really understanding climate justice throughout the world. And I'm the founder of the Resilient Activist. Today's agenda, we're going to talk about the Resilient Activist a little bit and what is activism. We'll go over the 5 essentials for a resilient world kind of quickly, and then we're going to get into a little deeper discussion on the benefits of time spent in nature and what you can do to make a difference for yourself while you're making a difference for the world. That'll include some mindfulness and self-care practices, and then we'll go into a little more depth on the 5 essentials for a resilient world for earth care and self-care. And I'll tell you a little bit about the Resilient Activist programs. So, at the Resilient Activist, we are a nonprofit. We cultivate resilience to environmental stress by supporting community, personal well-being, and vital ecological health, because we believe the world needs inspired and visionary activists, like maybe some of yourselves, who have the resilience to see us through these unprecedented times. So what is the word activism? Who is an activist? We believe strongly that activism is the art of taking action to support, nurture, and protect what we hold dear. So any actions you take are of great value, right? So 5 essentials for a resilient world: reconnect with nature, respect all life, regreen the planet, revamp our spending, and replenish our resources. And when we live from these 5 essentials, we find that there's a way to just be in a different place in the world, right? We live from that deep connection. So we're going to talk today about regreening the planet and reconnecting to nature, kind of 2 of those. Oh, wait a minute. And respect all life. Oh, and replenish our resources. And let's talk about revamping our spending. So this one thought is going to embody all of those. So for earth care, this garden that you see here is in a backyard that I had. And it includes butterfly milkweed, slender mountain mint, common milkweed, which will bloom a little bit later in the season, coreopsis, purple echinacea, garden phlox. There's rigid goldenrod and New England aster, and those are both great autumn plants. So many of us know that a native garden is important because of things like wanting to support birds, right? So even birds that mostly eat seeds as adults need caterpillars to feed their young. Caterpillars have a pretty high quantity of protein, and so higher protein, and that's what they feed to their young. So the caterpillars need specific host plants, right? Specific plants that the adult will lay their eggs on, that caterpillar may eat only the leaves of that plant, and if that plant's not there, there's nothing for them to eat, right? The plants themselves need clean water, healthy soil, and they need pollinators so that they can continue to reproduce and create more plants, right? And then plants and trees give off all of that life-giving oxygen that we need, and they absorb the carbon out of the air. So native gardens are a vital habitat to replace our mowed lawns and are an important factor in reversing global warming. That's all the environmental, the earth care benefit of putting in pollinator habitat. These are some recommended reading for you, some books that go into more detail about the emotional benefit of putting in pollinator habitat, for example, or spending time in nature. So The Nature Fix by Florence Williams has numerous studies on the healing benefits of time spent in nature. Last Child in the Woods is written from a psychologist's perspective and talks about nature deficit disorder and biophobia, which is fear of nature. Earth Emotions by psychologist Glenn Albrecht goes into a whole new language from the mental health community to describe what people are feeling and give them words and descriptions so that they recognize what they're feeling is not something out of the ordinary, right? It's a real thing. The Association of Nature and Forest Therapy, also known as forest bathing. There are a lot of people certified now around the country. You might look for someone to guide you or your friends and family on nature walks. The book Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teaching of Plants by Robin Wall Kimmerer. That's the book, right? It's the book of the last couple years, a really important concept. And then if you want to go more deeply into eco-psychology, you might find The Voice of the Earth, an exploration of eco-psychology by Theodore Roszak. This is a seminal book that shows the inherent connection between humans and the earth. So let's talk about the emotional benefit of time spent in nature, right? Or putting in a pollinator habitat. Putting that garden, that same garden in, will help you, especially if you put it in a place where you can see it out your window in all seasons, right? Your body will welcome an awareness of the cycle of seasons, right? Your human animal will connect more to what human animals need in different seasons of the year. As you inhale the scent of blossoms, you're receiving something called phytoncides, which are antibacterial and have aromatherapy properties. You can take an intentional respite from the work that you do, from your everyday actions, your everyday grief and worries and concerns, and just settle into being nature, right? You're going to be completely welcomed. There's no judgment there. You can just begin to feel really comfortable and relaxed out in nature. And then your heart's going to swell when you've put in that pollinator habitat and you see a critter landing on a blossom, right? Looking for pollen, looking for nectar, maybe finding a place to raise their young, right? It's so uplifting and joyful, and you'll know you're making a difference for the earth and for yourself. So one thing that you can do is really find something out in nature, a place, a plant, a vista, a tree, a rock that just grabs your attention, and bring a meditation practice into that. You just focus all your attention on that, and you begin to notice the colors, the shapes, the patterns, the textures, right? And as you do that, you're breathing in all that aromatherapy, you're hearing the sound of the birds and the sound of leaves rustling through the wind, right? And as you bring yourself into this kind of guided, self-guided meditative state, there is just a sense of uplift, a sense of release of tension that you might be carrying, a release of grief or sorrow, busyness, and all of those things can come together by taking time to come into a deeply meditative state, someplace in nature that just brings you joy. So those are the 5 essentials for a resilient world. And I'm going to give you one example for each one, right? They're pretty simple to go through. Reconnect to nature, just bring nature inside. Anything you can do to bring something in so that you turn over at night, what are you looking at on your nightstand, right? Or as you're washing dishes, are you seeing plants and rocks and whatever it is that calls to you? Respect all life. I'm sure that this community watching this video is already doing that, but I invite you to really look at and think about, from a mindful perspective, what do you do and how do you live your life? Revamp your spending. So if you make a decision to buy native plants or pollinator habitat, right, as opposed to plants that don't really have much benefit, maybe have been bred not to have any nectar or pollen, yes, that's true, they're going to make a big difference, right? It's a simple practice, but has great value. And then regreening our planet, we've talked about this. One important aspect is educate other people, right? Put a sign out so that your neighbors ask questions and you can share your knowledge. And then replenishing your resources, right? Replenish your own resources, replenish the resources around you, and it goes together, right? So, 5 essentials for a resilient world. And I'd like to let you know a little bit about the Resilient Activist upcoming programs that we have. We have a climate cafe helping people come together for community and support their emotional well-being. The next one is April 29th, a meeting on Monday evenings on Zoom. We have something called a 4-step for Resilient Life workshops. These are for private groups to help people eliminate whatever they're doing as activists that don't feel healthy and joyful, and find ways to bring in activism in ways that they love to do, right? And it's actually possible. We have a Justice, Equity, Diversity, Inclusion book group once a month. We do speakers' presentations on a lot of different topics, and we have a Visionary Activist program coming up. So reach out to us for our 5 Steps for Resilient Life workshop, and we would love to have more people joining our board of directors. We'd love to have you volunteer with us, or just simply make a donation to help support the free programs that we offer for activists. So you can reach out to us, theresilientactivist.org. Be happy to hear from you. And that's it for right now. So I'll stop the share. And I'll just thank you for what you do for a more resilient and verdant and compassionate world. Thanks. Bye.
You can check in with the Resilient Activist calendar online for both in-person and virtual events. These will improve your resilience and put your actions into perspective. We now welcome more words of wisdom from Green Jean Ponzi with EarthWays Center, Missouri Botanical Garden, as she reminds us, in a world laden with consumer plastic, we can only do so much.
The big thing is, you do the best you can. We are not going to individually turn the tide or turn the Titanic of plastic waste in our lives. We can do as much as we can with reuse and repurposing and refilling and reducing. But, you know, in the middle of winter, I can't go to the farmer's market to get greens. I do that in the summer, and then I use reusable produce bags when I go to the market. But in the middle of winter, I go to Trader Joe's. So give yourself a break. Be kind to yourself. Realize you're doing the best that you can and making the best choices that you can. And hopefully In another couple of Earth Days, we won't be talking about a week in plastic. I'm Green Jean Ponzi. Thanks. Happy Earth Day.
So we're going to close our program this year with a project that reaches into the future, covering a closed landfill with a solar farm and native plants in Phelps County. This project is of special interest as it was submitted for funding through Missouri's Plan for Environmental Improvement to reduce environmental impacts on climate change. This proposed community solar farm also addresses the challenges that some individuals experience with solar being too expensive or having a roof that's not facing the right direction. And of course, this plan includes proper disposal of solar panels. So let's learn more about this community solar project.
Hello, my name is Rex Tennyson, and I am part of a team working to develop community solar farms in Rolla, St. James, and other mid-Missouri towns. Currently, if you are interested in owning solar panels, you have to have them installed in your yard or on your roof. There are a lot of people, however, who do not have an unshaded yard or a south-facing rooftop who would like to participate in clean energy and reduce their personal carbon footprint. That is why community solar is a valuable concept. The way it works is like this. First, become a member of the Solar Farm Association and basically rent space for your panels at the solar farm site. You will pay a one-time fee for installation and a fixed annual fee for the rent, insurance, and maintenance. You will then get credit on your electric bill for the energy generated by your solar system, same as if it were on your house. The finances of it are all pretty simple. An average investment will be around $9,000 after the tax credits, and you will save about $700 per year on your cost of electricity. You can scale this up or down depending on the amount of electricity you use. To defray some of the costs, we have applied the solar energy grants, which will bring the initial cost down for all participants, but will also pay most of the cost for low-income families. That would be a win-win for everybody, so keep your fingers crossed. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a bright, sunny day.
You know, stewardship in Missouri is thriving. Today, we've seen evidence of the strength and dedication of people working together to improve the health and well-being for all. We hope that you are celebrating Earth Day in some special way, maybe simply taking some time to appreciate the wonders around us. Right now, the flowers are blooming, the birds are singing, and insects are buzzing as spring just bursts out everywhere. Nature reminds us of how we are all connected as one, from the tiniest insects to space itself. So we leave you with this pledge to protect and respect the earth.
I pledge allegiance to the earth, to its mountains, rivers, seas, and all of life which it supports, one planet and our care to cherish and respect for all.